Hello, my dear students. Here I am discussing about the dispersion in non-conductors. First, we will note the what is meant by dispersion. But we have already seen that the plane wave propagates through a simple with a phase velocity is given by c by n, that is 1 by square root of mu epsilon. But our assumption that the permittivity and permeability of the dielectric are constant, the phase velocity independent of the frequency of the wave. However, in real dielectrics, we observe that the phase velocity depends on the frequency of the wave. This effect we known as the dispersion. But how we can explain the dispersion means when the white rays pass through the a prism, we will get the waveguide like different types of radiations with respective wavelength. That phenomena we called as the dispersion. Here, the blue light travels more slowly than the red light through the glass and is refracted strongly by prism. Then, in dielectrics, the waves at low frequency propagate with constant velocity, that is c by square root of epsilon r, where epsilon r is the dielectric constant and which is independent of the frequency. As the frequency increases experimentally, we observe that the refractive index rises to maximum, then drops to minimum and rises again. That is, this graph shows the how this refractive index varies. For the normal dispersion, it will increases and again decreases and again increases. This is the normal dispersion and anomalous dispersion. But how I am taken, the dielectric gas is the simplest case of a dielectric material. Since the material is relatively dilute, we neglect the interaction between the atoms and molecules. Consider without any permanent electric dipole moment. If one electron is displaced, if an electrons are displaced, they experiences a restoring force, that is minus kx, restoring force constant into displacement of an electron. So the equation of the motion of these electrons we can written as mx double dot which is equal to minus kx, that is equation number 1. The equation of motion per electron as shown by. That's why the solution of this equation, what I am written as x is equal to a into e power I omega naught into t, where the natural frequency omega naught is given by root of k by m. Now we can apply the static electric field to that medium E, so that the displacement of the electron becomes the charge of an electron into electric field divided by k. This gives the displacement of electron in static field and the polarization of the material with n number of atoms per unit volume, which is given by polarization we have E into x, that is already we know the x, that's why into number of atoms per unit volume, n into e square e divided by k, that is also I am written as chi e epsilon naught into e. We can write the susceptibility chi e, that is by comparing these two equations we will write chi e is equal to ne square divided by epsilon naught k, which is equal to ne square divided by epsilon naught m omega naught square, and in the place of k I am written as already we know that k is equal to root of k by m omega naught square. From the above equation, the relative permittivity of the dielectric gas can be written as epsilon r is equal to 1 plus chi e, that is 1 plus ne divided by epsilon naught m omega naught square. In general, the different kind of atoms or molecules that exist in most of materials, there can be several different natural frequencies, that is omega I. Different material consists of different number of atoms or molecules, and they have different respective frequencies also, that is I am denoted by omega I. So the susceptibility should be written as summation, like epsilon r is equal to 1 plus e square divided by m epsilon naught into summation of ni divided by omega I square, where ni is the number of oscillations per unit volume with the natural frequency omega I. Then now we consider the oscillating electric field, that is E is equal to E naught e power I omega t. This may come if plane wave passing through a fixed point, that is z is equal to 0, the electric field will be the result, that is the force driving by oscillation of the electrons, and omega naught is the natural frequency. When we are applying then driven force, that is when frequency is omega, that is the electric frequency. Then magnetic field also contribute the force that driven by that electrons, that is the total force of a particle of a charge is given by total force is sum of the electric force and magnetic force E into E plus V cross E. Then and also we have the magnetic field is E by C times. This is and electrons of the atom, the velocity of the electrons is less than the velocity of light. Now I am neglecting the magnetic field. In that case, now assuming the damping force, that is m gamma x dot, damping force m gamma x dot proportional to the velocity of the electron, then the full equation of motion of this electron we can written as mx double dot, already we know. Then m gamma x dot, the damping force, v plus kx restoring force, which is equal to E into E naught e power I omega t, and also divided by m, what we will get x double dot gamma x dot m omega naught square x k by m, that value will become omega naught square x, which is equal to E by m E naught e power I omega t. This is the equation of motion for a driven oscillator, that is an electron, which has the solution as x is equal to E by m omega naught square minus omega square plus I omega gamma E naught e power I omega t. Then the electron oscillates with the same frequency omega as the driven force electric field, but amplitude depends on the frequency. The material containing oscillations with different omega and gamma I, if the number of oscillations per unit volume is ni, then the polarization we can written as P is equal to summation of n into that value of x n e square by m divided by omega square minus omega square plus I omega gamma I, which is equal to chi e epsilon naught e naught e power I omega t. Since the relative permittivity we can written as epsilon is equal to 1 plus chi e, then epsilon r is equal to 1 plus chi e value is, by using this above equation, E square divided by m epsilon naught summation of ni divided by omega I square minus omega square plus I omega gamma I. Now at low frequency, when omega is less than omega I, this expression for the relative permittivity reduces to the static field. In the case of equation 7 are like this: near the resonance frequency omega is equal to omega I, and magnitude varies rapidly with the frequency and become complex, then leading to the absorption and anomalous dispersion. For the complex relative permittivity, epsilon we can written as epsilon r is equal to epsilon r1 minus I epsilon r2. Then how I am written as in terms of this one for epsilon 1 and epsilon r2 is by above equation epsilon r1 is equal to 1 plus chi e and epsilon r2 is equal to chi e2. Then 1 plus chi e1 is same previous epsilon e square divided by m epsilon naught summation of ni omega I square minus omega square divided by omega I square minus omega square whole square plus omega square gamma square. Chi e2 value is e square divided by m epsilon naught summation of I ni omega gamma I divided by omega I square minus omega square whole square omega square gamma I square. Then this diagram shows the how ne square divided by m epsilon naught omega naught versus the frequency. Here this sharp peak shows the epsilon naught is equal to chi e2, this value, and this one shows omega r1 minus r1 is equal to chi e1. This is the up to here the normal dispersion. When it's come to this here, this is the anomalous dispersion. Then the refractive index already know n is equal to square root of epsilon r. That epsilon r value is 1 plus chi e1 minus I chi e2. That means epsilon r1 minus epsilon r2 tane. That is n1 minus in2. For the gases where the molecules are relatively sparse, the susceptibility is small. That is chi e1 is less than 1 and also chi e2 is less than 1. We can expand the square root of this equation by using Taylor series. Then I am written as n is equal to 1 plus of chi e1 minus of chi e2 I chi e2. Then we find out the n1 is equal to half of 1 plus e square divided by 2m epsilon naught summation of ni omega I square minus omega square whole divided by omega I square minus omega square whole square plus omega square gamma I square. Similarly, N2 is equal to E square divided by 2m epsilon naught Ni omega gamma I divided by omega I square minus omega square plus omega square into gamma I square. And this figure shows the how normal dispersion takes place up to this region, and this region whole shows the anomalous dispersion. N square divided by 2m epsilon naught omega gamma. Up to here the expression for or the explanation of the dispersion in non-conductors in electromagnetic waves. Thank you for watching.